bring the left foot way further forward than the right foot. And bring the toes of the right foot, toes of the right foot directly forward, so that the left and the right would be in alignment. It's almost like you're skiing. And now we're going to violate the principle of rooting. We're going to lift the back heel up in the air, working against gravity, contracting the calves, and then release the tension in the calves and drop them down. And let's repeat this a few times. Now, while we are uprooting our back heel, we want to stay stable, otherwise we'll fall over. So the principle of stabilization is very much in place. Center line, aligned with the toes of the weight-bearing foot. All right. Just to humor me, before you switch feet, check the status of your legs and tell me if you notice any difference between the right versus the left. Interesting, isn't it?
Quite a bit, actually.
What do you notice?
This one's tight and heavier, I would say.
Uh-huh.
And maybe more energetic compared to this one being empty.
Well, let's switch to the other side. See if we can do the same thing. Lifting the heel up in air, working against gravity, and then releasing tension on the calves and dropping the heel down. Of course, you can also synchronize it with your breath, so you contract on inhalation and relax on exhalation. Okay. Now we worked on the calves. How about the muscles antagonists? Well, we have shins. Let's see how we can do something that most people never do in their lives. Bring the top of the foot down on the floor. Yeah, just like that. Obviously, you need to bend the knee of the standing leg, and remember about the principle of grounding, distributing weight on the center of the standing foot, and keeping it on the center line also. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wiggle the back foot, just going from side to side and exploring the full range of motion of the leg there. Now we're ready to switch to the opposite side. Let's do the same thing. Wiggling the foot from side to side, exploring the full range of motion. If you had any difficulties sitting in Seiza, or in moderate position this morning, this will take care of it. You'll actually train your shin muscles, to the tibialis anterior, to become more relaxed. Longer will actually have no problem sitting like that. Let's see how we can do a few movements with our hands and arms. So let's bring both hands closer together in a prayer-like position and shift the fingers of the right hand about half an inch higher than the left. What we're going to do is we're going to apply pressure with the hands against each other. Now obviously the right hand has the upper hand, quite literally, and can push more towards the left elbow. Here you can experiment with turning fingers forward and downwards. Explore the range of motion. And bring them back up. And turn them inwards like so. And repeat it a couple times. Alright, you're standing.
Yeah, my leg hurt, my back hurt. Yeah.
Your leg
If I
hurts.
stand too long, my lower back hurt.
That's not good.
If I sit down a little, it will help.
I see. Let's see if you can do the same thing with the left hand now, having an up hand. So you apply pressure towards the right elbow. Okay. Now we're going to perform the arm war. Essentially, turn the thumb of the right hand down and bring the thumb of the left hand to the crease of the right wrist. All the fingers of the left hand go on top of the right knuckles and apply the pressure on the knuckles, or vice versa. Knuckles can press against the fingers, contracting the extensor muscles, and then relaxing them, bringing the hands closer to your torso. You can combine contraction with inhalation and relaxation with exhalation. So obviously, we can't do these things to other people. This is basically a supreme pronation. Now, if somebody is doing it to you, and you have done it enough to yourself, you'll be just smiling at them. Because if you just twist my arm, for example, would you?
No.
Okay, go ahead and twist my arm. There you go. Yeah. Go ahead.
He's just looking at me.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it because it's not a big deal at all. Like, this does not bother me whatsoever. Why? Because I'm flexible like this. It's like, I've done it enough to myself, so you doing it to me makes no difference. And there is also another principle that we use. Like if you twist my arm, I do this. I turn my center line to my hand. Now guess what? My hand feels a lot stronger. All of a sudden, you will not be able to take me down, even if you continue twisting. Yeah, go ahead. It feels strong. If I didn't turn my center line to my hand, you would be able to continue twisting. And the further away from my center line my hand is, the weaker it is. So you can easily take somebody down, just taking the hand behind their back, and down he goes, we'll get arrested. Gosh, I have a really hard time arresting because they can twist my arm, quite literally. Now, if you do this enough to yourself, you know very well how it feels, and you learn how to do it on your center line. You don't do it over there, you do it over here. You can also train to do this to yourself, so if you get a hold of another person's hand, you know how to do it to them. So if you get a hold of somebody's hand, you know exactly how to grab it and how to twist it. It's almost like a second nature to you. Obviously, we're also exploring flexibility of our extensors muscles. Now we're going to switch to flexors. Flexors are the muscles, or actually we're going to switch to the pronators first. We are going to work with hand pen. Now the hand pen is where one thumb is up, the other one is up as well. The pinky and the ring finger of the left hand go to the crease of the wrist, and the left thumb goes on top of the right pinky knuckle. So it basically gives you a really nice leverage to pin somebody's hand down. That's why we call it a hand pen. However, again, if you do it enough times to yourself, this becomes no big deal. Again, you can push with the knuckle of the pinky against the thumb, contracting the supinators, and then releasing the tension as you exhale. There are movements like this in Aikido and several other styles of martial arts. However, I like Aikido. I have a black belt in Aikido. I understand how it works and everything. But I don't understand why they do this. In the beginning of the class, everybody grabs their own hand and do this. That makes no freaking sense. Just because you are not going to get any more flexible because of this. You can actually hurt yourself. So what we do is not fast movements, trying to just bounce up and down. It's a very mindful movement. You contract the muscle, pushing the pinky knuckle against your thumb, and then releasing that tension and let that muscle limp. Okay, well, that's the difference between stretching and limping, right there. We'll dive into it a little bit more today, too. Very well. So this is the hand pin. Done on both sides, correct? Let's see how we can interlock the fingers of both hands. As if you are holding a little energy ball, the size of a tennis ball between your palms. And what we're going to do is roll the wrists forward around this energy ball. Both wrists. The right wrist is doing great, though. Yeah, let's not forget to roll the left wrist as well. Yeah, that's it. That's the moment. And now we're going to stop and notice which index finger or thumb is on top. We're going to change so that the opposite one is on top. For many people, it may feel weird or outright uncomfortable because you're not used to it. That's okay. We're going to undo all kinds of stereotypes in our bodies. So let's roll the wrists backwards now.
Almost tried reverse.
So by backwards, I mean this. You're holding the wrists around this energy ball, and you roll them up and back, up and back. Yeah, you're rolling forward. So can you reverse that motion? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Great. You got it. So let's see how we can play a little bit more with our movements associated with not only exploration of range of motion, but also flexibility. Let's see how we can first just check where we are in terms of flexibility. No need to do splits. Let's see if you can put your feet wider apart, and just to find out for yourself how wide they can go. You can bring your hands to the floor if you need to, and just experiment and find out what can be your edge of the comfort zone. Don't push yourself over the edge, just find the edge. There it is. So that's your edge. How about the movement where you bring center line more towards the toes of one leg? You can drop the knee on the ground that way. And just see how that feels. Yeah. It can be a bit challenging, so don't overdo it. Don't overstretch. Just make sure that you're exploring rather than doing some particular type of split. Do you feel like one leg is more flexible than the other?
Yeah.
A little bit?
A little bit. Actually touched one. Well, maybe that's because I just was on that one and went back.
Doesn't want to straighten. Okay. So what we're going to do next is something very interesting. We are going to sit down with the feet still wide apart, and we are going to find the edge of the comfort zone by walking with the fingertips forward. And on the carpet, on the rug, we can actually make a mark where the edge of your comfort zone is at the moment. Very nice. As a matter of fact, you can continue this line all the way to the opposite foot. You see how you can walk your fingers along this line. It can be a curved line. And grab a hold of the opposite foot, or one of your feet, and just simply rock it. Rocking the leg in the hip socket. The idea is to turn your toes as if they are windshield wipers, moving them from about 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, or if they go even further, maybe from 10 to 2 o'clock. You can also synchronize breathing with this rocking motion. And whenever you're ready to do the same thing on the other side, slowly walk your fingers along that same line, curved line, and go all the way to the opposite foot. Grab a hold of that foot, and also rocking your leg from side to side, turning the foot as if it's the windshield wiper from 10 to 2 o'clock. Okay. Now let's walk the fingers again to the front, to the center. Notice how they're not quite in the same position where they were in the very beginning when you sit down. Notice the difference? That much? Cool. What's yours? That much? Awesome. So, did you notice any difference?
Very tough, this one. This is probably the hardest one for me.
Ah. Well, if it's hardest, guess what? It actually needs more attention.
That's where I started.
Yeah.
It's right where you are. And in 5 months, well, if I practice more at home, these go wider, and then it can go further.
Yeah.
I could only go to here when I started.
It's kind of an interesting thing because if you don't use it, you lose it when it comes to flexibility. The muscle just tend to shrink, become shorter. You also lose muscle mass, and interestingly enough, as people lose muscle mass, they don't become more flexible. We always talk about how weakness and tension go hand in hand. Tension is not a sign of strength, it's a sign of weakness. If we lose muscle mass and become weaker, we don't become more relaxed, we become more tense. It's like people who become older usually don't become more flexible. Now, what we experience as a result of this practice is basically a reversal of that aging process. Now, who wouldn't want that? So, from here, let's bend the right leg, keeping the leg straight out. So bend the right leg so you bring the foot as close to the crotch as you can. And now with the right hand over your head, lean towards your left foot. Let's see how far you manage to get. You can also add some rocking motion, rocking from side to side, in sync with your breathing. Don't stretch, just explore the edge of your comfort zone. Nice. And whenever you're ready, switch to the other side. Extending the right leg, bending the left. And with your left hand over your head, go towards the right foot. Of course, you can also add rocking from side to side, like we did on the other side. Exploring flexibility of our obliques. Obliques are the muscles on the sides of your torso, connecting your ribs to your pelvic ball. If the obliques are really short, they obviously limit your mobility. Both mobility of your hips, mobility of your ribs, mobility of the entire trunk. So we want to have obliques flexible and relaxed, but strong. So we'll be working on increasing strength of our obliques too. Now, if you bring both feet as close to the crotch as possible together, this is where we can also work on our gracilis muscles, the adductors. So as you hold onto your toes, extend your elbows sideways. And see how you can apply pressure onto your elbows with your inner thighs. So you're not pressing down with your elbows, no, you're pressing up with your legs.
The opposite of karate.
The opposite of karate, yes.
Or at least when I went.
That's the ubiquitous thing that people do in many martial arts. Karate, taekwondo, kung fu, many different styles. They basically do this really, really silly move. Some of them refer to it as the butterfly exercise. They flap their wings and they think this is going to be a good thing. Well, sorry to tell you, it's not going to be a good thing because it is very likely to overstretch your groin muscles. The reason why it gets easily overstretched is because when you make the dynamic movements like this, you may not notice once you get to the edge of the comfort zone, you have momentum that will carry you over the edge. And when you push yourself over the edge, you stretch. And when you stretch, you get a stretch reflex, which basically leads to greater tension in your gracilis muscles and other muscles of the groin, which is going to make it difficult to walk and basically incapacitate the person as a martial artist for quite a while. That's why we don't do this kind of flapping of the wings. We contract these muscles and then relax them, let the gravity do its thing. Also, let the gravity let you lean the torso forward and down. Again, pressing with your knees or inner thighs up on the elbows on inhalation, and then on exhalation, release and drop. A couple more times. Okay, so as long as you didn't overstretch them, you should be fine. Now, what we're going to do next is really interesting. It may remind you of another yoga pose. We're going to turn this way, keeping the right leg bent. Okay, you can keep the left leg bent at the knee in front of you, and keep the opposite leg straight behind you. Now, I invite you to bring the left toes, if your left leg is bent, or right toes, if your right leg is bent in front of you, towards the opposite hip. we're going to just rock from side to side. Or you can also push into the ground with your knee, releasing the pressure on your hands, maybe even lifting your hands up. And then relaxing the muscles of the glutes and dropping down. Obviously, you can combine that with inhalation on the contraction of the glutes and exhalation on relaxation. All right. Now we're ready to switch sides. Go ahead and bend your left leg, straighten your right. And do the same thing on this side. Either rocking from side to side, shifting the weight from right to left and back, or contract the muscles of the glutes, pushing the knee down into the floor, releasing the pressure on the hands. And then relaxing and dropping the torso forward again. Obviously, goes really well with inhalation on move up and exhalation on move down. Okay. Great. Now, let's see how we can do augment the Caesar pose. Now, instead of sitting on our heels, we're going to put the feet wider apart so that your hips can fit between your heels. Just like that. Here you can walk your hands backwards slowly and carefully, not to overstretch. You don't want to overstretch your quads or hip flexors. You just want to find the edge of the comfort zone. And then when you come back up, hold on to your toes so that your butt doesn't stick up in the air. And then move forward. Nice. For some people it's easier to go backwards, for some people it's easier to go forward. Rarely it's equally easy to go both ways. Yeah. So, how do you guys feel so far? Good. Good. Interesting practice, isn't it? Great practice to do at home if you have maybe 20, 30 minutes of time to dedicate to it. Even if you don't have that much time, you don't have to do the whole thing in one sitting.